Supercars. A world of high-octane, high-tech, high-performance vehicles. And the man who modifies them for the rich and famous is Afzal Khan.
When it comes to style and it comes to design, no request is too crazy.
Is there any way we could build a gun case in the boot?
I absolutely love supercars. I'm the master of redesigning how they look. I've never come across anybody that could actually challenge me.
Khan can make any car look great inside and out.
Yay!
But now he's mentoring a pair of engineers who want a piece of the action, making great cars even better.
I've developed prototypes for some of the world's fastest supercars.
Oh, petrol.
It doesn't matter how complicated the project is.
Water injection. Fuel and oxygen, kaboom!
I fix and resolve problems for the world's leading luxury car manufacturers. We've got a supercharger there and our engine here.
Yeah.
Ralph's about the bigger picture. I'm the one that sorts all the problems out, actually makes it work.
The boys want to impress Khan by taking cars already engineered to the max and improving their performance, their power, and their looks.
This car needs to look aggressive.
Will the engineers ever join Khan's empire?
We spent £1.3 million on that car.
Can you smell clutch?
Or will they end up on the scrap heap?
Mr. Khan has given us a golden opportunity here. Let's just hope we don't mess this one up.
Seeking inspiration for his next masterpiece, master of modification Afzal Khan is at the Silverstone Classic, home of one of the biggest Porsche gatherings in history.
That's what Porsche is about. What do you reckon?
That is absolutely awesome. I mean, they spend millions of pounds on development of something like that. I mean, look at it. When I was in my teens, my ambition was to buy a Porsche. It was the car to buy of its time.
However, not all Porsche models get the Khan seal of approval.
It's ugly, isn't it?
Afzal's eyes have settled on the £93,000 Porsche Panamera.
It's probably the only one car out of the Porsche range that's kind of boring. Right, just stand back and have a look at it. You know, this car is crying out for something different. Yeah.
Unlike its sporty brothers and sisters, the Panamera is the big and bulky member of the Porsche family, designed with comfort and practicality in mind.
Well, one thing I can say, it drives beautiful, but it doesn't look good, does it? That car needs a change. So my idea for the Panamera is take the sort of classic look of the 911 and give it that sort of more retro feel, but yet keeping it executive. I've done my market research, and the perfect market is the Far East.
When Khan gets a big idea, his first call is to Ralph and Ronan.
Hi, Ralph, how you doing?
What? Mr. Khan.
Just a quick suggestion, just a bit of an idea I've had here.
How can we help?
Think of the Porsche Panamera. You know what it looks like?
Yes.
I've got a bit of an idea. Something that takes styling cues from the early 911s. Think about the Far East customer, for example.
I love their European supercars.
They want something a little bit different.
Where's this for? China.
There's a market there which is absolutely huge.
Okay, right.
All right, guys, you crack on with what you're doing.
Yes.
And then let me know how you get on, and I'll be in touch with you the next couple of days.
Yeah, will do. Right, okay, cheers.
Now, this is a great opportunity for them. If they get this right, we've got something massive here.
So you want a really high-powered executive saloon for the Chinese market?
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
The thing I've got to say is, if they get this wrong, I'm kicking them out.
About the Chinese market. I know a little bit about the Chinese market, and they're getting really hot on emissions. And big engine cars are getting absolutely slaughtered on tax.
The Panamera is already a popular saloon car in the Far East, but Khan's plan is to make it look and feel like a sports coupe, whilst using its inner space to create a business-class environment. Due to congestion on Chinese roads, there are tough tax penalties for inefficient vehicles. To succeed, the boys will need to engineer something with the environment at its heart, before the car is presented to a Chinese business delegation in just 3 weeks' time. With that in mind, the boys need to buy themselves a Panamera.
As long as it's not over 5,000 miles, we're good to go on that.
And that means visiting Khan's procurement department.
I'll email you as I speak. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Bye.
You're a busy man.
Tell me about it. How can I help?
Yeah, we've got a little project on and we're after a Porsche.
Okay, Porsche. Which model?
Panamera.
Panamera. Okay. Turbo, Turbo S.
Hybrid.
Yes.
A what, sorry?
A hybrid.
A hybrid.
Yes. It's
Porsche Panamera Hybrid. We've decided to go for a V6 hybrid Panamera, which should meet the tax break requirements of the local market.
Does Mr. Khan know about this?
Yeah, it's fine. Absolutely fine. Now, we're not going to go straight back to Mr. Khan with this idea because I'm not convinced that he would understand the genius of using a hybrid yet.
I'll take your word for it. I will take your word for it. So we want a Porsche Panamera hybrid. I'm quite shocked, actually. We're petrol heads through and through. For Mr. Khan to want a hybrid, if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. My job is to source the car. That's what I'll do.
In 2011, the Panamera Hybrid became the cleanest, most fuel-efficient Porsche ever, after decades producing high-performance supercars like the world-famous 911. Khan's plan is to take retro-sporty styling and add the executive appeal found in luxury limos, capitalising on the Panamera's spaciousness. But if the boys don't keep it efficient, it won't capture their target market in China.
Right, Panamera.
It's a bit of a dull-looking car, isn't it?
It is quite dull. To make the Panamera look like a 911 isn't going to be easy. I mean, have you seen the spoilers on the back of those things? And if we did anything with the back end, we'd have to do something with the front end to balance it out. We're going to be adding loads of power-hungry gizmos in the back of this car, but we've got to find a way of keeping it energy efficient at the same time. You've got all the office, the table, the IT equipment you could need.
More like a private office in the back of your car.
Quite a bit of work to be done on that one.
While the boys come up with engineering solutions, Mr. Khan has assembled his design team to start work on the Porsche's new look.
Now look at that. What was that guy thinking when you were designing that car? The most boring car on the planet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a Porsche.
It's a good thing for us. Do you understand? We make ugly cars look pretty, don't we? Yeah? What can we do to that? Taking inspiration of some of the early cars. So you want a wraparound rear wing, which is, we've got to bear in mind, that's an electric rear spoiler, so the electric rear wing has to fit into the rear spoiler. Let's look at the side elevation of that car. Flat, no curves really. Let's add some really cool arches to it. So when you're looking at the back end of the car, when you're driving, you can see it looks fat, and that's what Porsches are known for. Yeah. I love this car because, for me, it's a blank canvas.
But little does Khan know that his blank canvas comes with a hybrid engine.
It does pick up speed reasonably. OK, but it's very...
Dull.
Yes, it is.
Considering we're going so quickly.
It is a bit dull, and Mr. Khan's customers are going to want something special, so we've got to give it a bit of an edge.
Oh, it looks like it says Mr. Khan. Hello.
Hi, Ronan, how you doing?
Hello there. What's up?
Give us some updates. Where are you these days?
Ralph's driving our new purchase, or your new purchase, in fact.
All right, so you've gone out and bought a car, have you?
Yeah, we bought you a Panamera, just like you asked.
Just tell us a little bit about it, the mileage.
It's got 15,000 miles on the clock. It's one of the 3-litre hybrid Panameras.
I didn't get that. It's a 3-litre petrol, yeah?
3-litre petrol hybrid, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. He's gone quiet.
He has.
None of my customers buy hybrid cars, I don't understand.
It's going to be a new market. China is all about...
How are you going to make the hybrid faster?
It's not slow, as it is, but we've got a plan to make it faster, to make it a bit more exciting.
God, I can't believe this.
You'll see. Once we finish this car, it'll have an edge to it, and you'll absolutely love it.
OK, so can you do me a little favour? Can you guys take that car back? I don't want it. Non-hybrid, non-battery...
Just bear in mind, we've got the car we know you need, and we've got a plan to get it sorted out. Don't worry.
Oh.
He doesn't get it, does he? What we've got is the car he needs. He just doesn't realise it.
Didn't think for a second they'd go out and buy a hybrid. They've gone out and bought a hybrid. What am I going to do with a hybrid? What is anybody going to do with a hybrid?
Fortunately, the boys do have a plan to turn their eco-friendly Porsche into a sporty executive supercar.
We've got to up the power level, so that's an ECU upgrade.
Step one, we're going to mess with its brains. We're going to reprogram the engine management computer to make it as powerful as the top-of-the-range petrol V8 without losing any of the fuel efficiency. We need this car to look good and go like a slippery eel through the air.
Very apt description. Step two, we're going to add an aerodynamic styling package that slips through the air like a hot knife through butter.
We've got to put some sort of office inside it to make it really appeal to the executive on the move.
We don't really need the front passenger seat for this executive, do they? Because they're going to have a chauffeur.
Oh, yeah. Step three, we're going to fit an energy-efficient, high-tech business centre. Let's see if we can actually get the same fuel economies that Porsche publish, or even beat them.
Step four, we're going to see just how efficient it is by doing a real-world fuel economy test.
And if we do all of that, and we do it well, we'll take the Chinese market by storm. You mark my words.
Ralph and Ronan's grand plan is to combine Kahn's sporty design with high performance and a business class experience that will benefit from Chinese environmental tax breaks. All they need to do now is convince Mr. Kahn that they know what they're doing.
Visually will look great, but it will perform like a 3-litre hybrid. It's no good. I'm not happy about it. They're just going out and blowing a lot of my money.
Supercar design guru Afzal Khan is creating a retro-styled executive Porsche for the Chinese market.
We make ugly cars look pretty.
But Ralph and Ronan's decision to go with hybrid technology has left their petrol-headed mentor extremely unhappy.
They're just going out and blowing a lot of my money.
Luckily, lead mechanic Ronan has come up with a scheme to turn things around.
Mr. Kahn blew his top when he found out we bought a hybrid. He associates them with being boring eco-warriors. He's probably thinking electric milk floats, but he's wrong. And I've got a plan to get Mr. Kahn to fall in love with electric technology. I'm going to take him for a blast in a BMW i8, which is the world's first hybrid supercar.
So we started now?
We're starting now. It's fun and exciting. That's what this is all about. It's got the ability to terrify you.
With a combined horsepower of 362 and 420 pound-foot of torque, the i8 propels you from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds to a top speed of 155 miles per hour.
Can be exciting and quick. This certainly isn't what Mr. Kahn was expecting. He's gone all quiet. This is a proper roller coaster ride.
Do you usually drive like this?
But who doesn't like roller coasters?
This is crazy. I'm still not bought into it.
Well, the fact that you get worried when I drive.
I mean, you're actually making it worse by driving like this.
I'm having fun. Mr. Kahn, you gave Ralph and I the brief to try and break into the Chinese market. And we both have researched this. Now, we think a 3-litre hybrid Panamera, they'll like it, they'll get efficiency benefits, they'll get economy benefits. Please let us finish it. You'll be pleased with what we do. You've just got to have a little bit of faith.
I'll make you a deal, yeah?
Go on then.
This is the deal.
All right.
On one condition, you never, ever, 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 ever drive that car.
And I'm pleased to say it's worked.
I should be calling the bloody police in a minute.
I promise you that we will do you proud.
The question is, how will Ralph and Ronan transform their 4-door hybrid into something that feels like the sporty i8? The answer is on the German Autobahn, the world's fastest motorway network. Efficiency and speed are two vital ingredients when it comes to driving on roads without speed limits. So it's no surprise that one of the only engine tuners prepared to touch the hybrid Panamera is in mainland Europe.
Good afternoon.
Hello, I'm Ralph.
You can call me PJ.
And what we're doing is really sort of brain surgery, operating on the electronics to give us more power.
Step one is to hack the car's electronic control unit, or ECU. It regulates everything from air intake to revs per minute.
There you go, then.
Thank you, sir.
We're hoping to get about 50 horsepower more, something in the region of 15% increase. First stage of the operation, isn't it? Get the patient settled on the hospital bed.
Settled on the hospital bed? You mean entirely restrained?
First, a baseline test to find out exactly how many horsepower this Panamera currently produces.
So we have 308 horsepower.
Yeah, it's down from the 333.
Yeah.
Right, let's get the brain out.
Perfect.
This is a really exciting bit. Ron's now uncovered the ECU, so we're going to start mucking around with its brains, changing the values based on the data we've just got.
And the brain is free.
And then we'll make this a much faster car. There's our microprocessor.
And that's what it's been all about, taking the lid off to get to that.
And those little dots there, the ones that give you the access into its internal brains.
The first step in the operation is wiring the ECU to a computer that will put it into boot mode. This will unlock the ECU.
This is the most delicate phase of the operation here.
Then probes connect with the circuits, enabling a computer to read, then rewrite the car's internal software.
We're doing what would definitely be regarded as an unauthorised process. Suck out the code that was in there and put new code in.
The ECU was never designed to have this done to it. If they don't get this right, the car won't work anymore. Time to close up the patient.
Relieved that they haven't broken Mr. Khan's car, Ralph and Ronan eagerly await the ECU upgrade test results. Super mod king Afzal Khan is creating a sporty business-class Porsche for the Chinese market. After falling out with Ralph and Ronan over their choice of a hybrid, they've rewired the onboard computer to increase its performance. But how will the car fare on the notorious German Autobahn?
Right, guys, we got our final results in. So as you can see, we've landed on 364 brake horsepower.
Compared to where we started with,
Which is 308.
the results have been spectacular. We've got nearly 20% gain. Is this as far as you'd like to push it?
Yeah. It has to remain safe. You're going to drive it on the road.
This looks brilliant. There's only one thing left to do.
Take it out on the road.
Absolutely. I can't wait to go and drive.
God, it's you driving, isn't it? I very much think Mr. Khan's going to be made to eat his words this time. 60 horsepower, that's as much as many small cars. It's a significant increase that we've had.
This is exciting.
Just be rude not to test it out on a fast bit of road, and the Autobahn's just around the corner, so that's where we're going.
See you guys.
Well, those numbers turned up really quite well on the dyno.
It did look good, didn't it? But the proof, as you well often say...
The pudding is in the eating. We're in the de-restricted bit of Autobahn.
Prepared for a bit of pudding?
Let's give it some.
Oh, I say.
It's 100.
That's quick.
130. 160.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeez, 170 and a bit, and it's getting really quite nervous.
Tell you what, can we slow down?
Oh, yes.
Can we slow down, mate?
Yes. I think that needs a bit of work on the aerodynamics there. The front felt very light, it was pulling out. We're going to have to push it into the ground. It's a lot faster now.
It is noticeably quicker.
We've got to keep it stuck to the ground.
It's definitely not dull now.
Back at Khan HQ, the car is in the paint shop, which means that stage 2 of the process has begun. Mr. Khan is restyling the Porsche's exterior with sporty retro-style rear wings and a wide body kit. And it's Ralph and Ronan's job to ensure that his ideas don't affect the car's aerodynamic efficiency.
Well, they've done something to it, definitely. Gentlemen, how are you doing? Yeah.
Very good.
Wow, it definitely looks different. What colour is it going to be? I see you got the primer on it. Yeah, well, this is something that you don't understand, you see.
What?
It is innocence paint. This is the colour for it.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Ralph and Ronan don't know what they're talking about when it comes to colour schemes. I mean, they're the last people I'll be asking. They don't have a colour scheme themselves. If you look at the way they're dressed, let's be fair, you know, who are there to sort of give you an idea for a colour scheme? We've designed a styling package for this, which is wider arches. So you can see, just as an example, that piece there. We've sort of followed the design cues of the car.
Yeah.
This time, so it flows into the arch.
And then exaggerated them a little bit.
The composite body is rigid and lightweight, so it doesn't affect performance. But Khan's got something else up his sleeve that's more worrying for the engineers.
Now, what I haven't got here, we're still designing it, is a rear wing which has been produced, and now that's been inspired off the 911, like the classic 911 turbos.
The thing that really worries me is he's talking about a massive spoiler on the back.
It does make me a bit nervous too.
Which is going to completely change the way the car handles. Well, the thing that really worries me about this is by doing that, you're going to really change the aerodynamics out the back. And we already know that at high speed, now that we've raised the speed limit on this car, the front end starts getting light and a bit twitchy. And if your wing starts pressing the back down, the front's going to start lifting up and it's going to make it worse.
It's their job to make sure it aerodynamically functions correctly. You're going to test it?
Wind tunnel, maybe?
We haven't got time for that. They get booked up 6 months in advance.
Right, so can I leave you guys to do it, yeah?
You can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted out. Come on. Oh, it's going to be really tricky, this one.
The boys have got 3 days to work out just how they're going to test the new body kit while Mr. Khan finishes the car's retro styling. Now that Mr. Khan's styling package is complete, Ralph and Ronan are concerned that the new lip on the roof and the back spoiler will slow down the car. With no wind tunnel to hand, they're going back to basics and performing a real-world aerodynamic test on the car's new body kit.
I've rigged up something fairly dodgy. Here we go. What do you think of that?
Charged with creating an executive Porsche for the Chinese market, Ralph and Ronan have increased the performance of their Panamera by 20%.
There we go.
You brought something on a cannon.
Yeah, basically you stick a couple of smoke grenades in the end there,
Yes.
and then I'll hold that. I'll be sitting in the back of the Land Rover, and I'll watch the smoke going over the Porsche.
I see.
I'll move it around the bits I'm worried about.
Yes.
So I'll move it there, there, and I'll hold it there for a bit, and I'll watch the smoke go over the roof and see what the rear spoiler does.
Normally we'd like to use a wind tunnel, but we haven't got that. And Ralph's come up with this really interesting idea to use smoke grenades that we're going to follow one car behind the other, and the smoke's going to flow over the Panamera, and we should be able to see what's going to happen.
The boys will be performing 2 tests in total. The first one, without Mr. Khan's spoiler, will give them a baseline reading before the second test with Mr. Khan's spoiler.
Let's do this thing. Right.
So we're getting into position. He's pulling his grenades.
There we go. There's a nice bit of smoke.
I actually think it'd be quite impressive what we can get out from a couple of smoke grenades, a bit of DIY shop bodgery, and some gaffer tape.
That proved quite interesting. Well, I think we've got some really good footage there.
I should hope so.
Well, we need to try that other spoiler on it.
Right, should we get that on then?
Yeah.
Time to test the airflow over Khan's retro rear wing to see if it helps or hinders the car's aerodynamics.
It's quite big spoiler by the time it's on.
Right, let's see what happens then.
In this test, the combination of the new spoiler and the lip at the top of the rear window are causing havoc.
Wow, incredible. That is as draggy as heck. You can see a massive turbulent wake at the back of the car. It's all over the shop. Air is actually going backwards up the rear window. That's had such a dramatic difference on the aerodynamics. I'm looking forward to telling Mr. Khan that his spoiler is complete rubbish.
Morning. Hi, gents. Morning.
Thank you very much for turning up today.
Today we've got a very tricky task. We've got to convince Khan to take part of his styling kit off the car. Well, that's not going to be easy.
So what we did is we took the Panamera up a test track, and we set off some smoke grenades in front of it so we could actually see the airflow moving over the car. And we tried it at various different speeds to see what effect it had. At low speeds, below 60 mile an hour, everything's fine, but once you get above 60 mile an hour, this starts having a dramatic effect on the airflow, and the faster you go, the more effect that has. The biggest problem we had is with the roof spoiler. Because that's knocking the airflow up like that and that's doing that, you're getting a vacuum which is sucking the car backwards and up. So you're actually losing downforce. The air's not pressing down on that big spoiler anymore at all. That's been made redundant. So you're actually making the car less stable at high speed and ruining your fuel economy.
When you say it's affecting the fuel economy, by how much?
20% maybe.
So what you're saying is for every £100 of fuel I put in there, I lose £20 of fuel?
If you did a lot of motorway work, yeah, I'd reckon that's probably reasonable.
And remember, we've pepped this car up so we can go a lot faster now. It's a 180 mile an hour car. And losing stability at the back at 180 mile an hour, I'm not keen on that. You need to lose that completely.
It just suits the rest of the car.
I think in the balance that there is between a cosmetic enhancement and an effect on the performance of the vehicle, I think that we've got to take it off.
If I had to take the one off, it'd be the roof one I'd take off.
Right, that sounds like we've got a solution then.
Yep.
I'm flabbergasted. That's the first time he's ever listened to anything we've ever said.
Yes, I'm in love with the whole styling exercise. It looks fantastic, but if it's not functional, then it's no good to us.
The fact he's been prepared to get rid of it shows progress. Maybe he trusts us.
In their bid to turn a Porsche Panamera into a fuel-efficient luxury office on wheels for the Chinese market, Ralph and Ronan have upped the car's brake horsepower, performance, and added an aerodynamic styling package. Stage 3 of their build is adding an eco-friendly business centre. In search of an energy-efficient power source for the Panamera's onboard office, Ronan has arranged to meet Peter Bell, whose blue sky thinking gave him the green answer to powering his yacht.
Hello, Ronan. Peter.
Good to meet you. I'm interested in the solar panels you got on your boat, because I'm going to put them on a car, and kind of want to know more about them.
Come aboard and have a look.
Solar panels used to be really expensive, so they generally didn't get fitted to things unless they were really necessary. You can think of satellites and space exploration as the obvious choices. As solar panels have become cheaper, they're much more accessible to everyone. Oh, right, you got a proper spread all the way across.
Well, I tried to cover the whole of the foredeck with them so that we get the maximum amount of exposure. They're very flexible. As you can see, they mould to the shape of the deck.
Yeah, I like the fact they're thin and flexible. That's the kind of thing I was looking for.
Yeah.
So how much wattage is there here?
With the sun shining fully, I've got 167 peak watts in this solar panel. But we very, very rarely go below 90% total power with everything running.
OK.
I think solar panels are brilliant. There is so much energy from sunlight that hits the planet all the time. It's a phenomenal amount of energy. What these little chaps do is they take those photons and as they smash through the silicon, they actually drive the electrons through it. That makes the current flow through the system. And that then comes out on these wires. So for an application like our Panamera, what we need to do is control that, and that's where the inverter comes in. That takes the DC voltage out of the solar cells, chops it up into little bits, rearranges it into a nice sine wave, just like the mains electricity you get at home. Then we can plug our laptop computers or whatever we want into it. Genius.
And to see the yacht's solar panels in action, Ronan has taken it out to sea.
There's quite a lot of electronic stuff on here, isn't it, compared to an old boat? You've got
compared to an old boat, there's gazillions of stuff. We've got radar, we've got chart plotter, we've got GPS, we've got AIS, which is why I have to have the solar panels.
But it's not just above deck that the solar panels are working. The 5 batteries that supply over 160 watts also power a vast array of equipment below deck.
It's got the autopilot here as well, Navtex instruments, heating, runs my laptop, all the lights in the whole boat.
OK.
It runs the fridge, and this is my battery monitor. So since we've been going, we're on 98% battery power.
Whereas if we hadn't had the panels on, we'd have used massively more than that, wouldn't we?
We would have used a lot more.
Yeah. With a system like this, with its own independent batteries and solar panels to top it up, pretty much just what we're looking for.
Back in Yorkshire, the restyled Panamera has been sent to Brett Wadsworth at Alpha Auto Concepts, ready to be fitted with its eco-friendly business centre.
Oh, this is the motor, This is the machine. Aye. Wow. It's been painted already. It's a serious piece of kit. We're going to fit a modern business centre with its own computer, monitor, keyboard and internet connectivity, all going into a console to replace the front passenger seat. Once that's out of the way, we'll make a pod that goes basically following the shape of the interior of the vehicle. And that will all fit with this kind of leather. It'll look I'll copy the same design that you've got here, so it actually looks like it was intended to be in this vehicle. OK, and presumably we'll be able to bolt it down to where the seat used to go? Yeah, for safety reasons, we'll put it straight into the same fixing points as what this seat's in. OK, that sounds great. So first job, get cracking, get the seat out. This build's all about fuel efficiency, so it's really important we don't run the engine just to power our office. It needs its own independent energy source. So there's the solar panels going on the roof, which you can see is, unlike traditional solar panels, has got a little bit of flex to it. It's not infinitely flexible, it's got just enough flex to fit on the curvature of the roof. I'm going to come forward a smidgen. OK, though. And that now is where it's going. How much power comes out of that, Ron? So that's supposed to be 140 watts. And what is it in Yorkshire? In Yorkshire, probably about 3. Wow, look at that. So that's going to go where the seat used to go. Oh, the computer, the screen, this is going to lift up, motorise up. Let's carry it. No, it's not too bad. No, it's not too heavy at all. Gentle. Right, open. Yeah. So when it's up all the way, so where does the keyboard go? The keyboard, it'll flap down and it'll come out towards you right here. So you'll be right there. That's really nice. I like that a lot. That goes there. And the magic moment of seeing if it works. Nothing yet. And yay, power. Marvellous stuff. We're ready to go. I'm really excited about what we've done here. I think it's quite revolutionary. All it needs now is Mr. Khan's seal of approval. But that's quite difficult to get.
In just 24 hours, the car is to be presented to a delegation of Chinese business people. But first, it has to pass Khan's strict quality control inspection. In just 3 weeks, the car has been repurposed and transformed. Retuning has given it a top speed of over 180 miles per hour. The boys have added an efficient executive business suite, and retro aerodynamic styling has given it the sporting looks of the classic Porsche 911. Conducting the inspection is Khan's head of operations, Steve.
And have you tested it?
Yes, we've tested it on the rolling road, so we know we've got 365 horsepower.
OK, good.
We've installed a mobile office system, and the whole thing is powered independently with this solar cell. So you can sit there doing your homework, and it won't drain the battery.
That can't stay like that.
How do you mean?
We've got a massive launch tomorrow. We're presenting this to some really important business people. It just cannot be displayed like that. I mean, look at the wires. It's just tatty. I cannot understand how they think that it's right to present a car to us in that condition. In terms of the overall look of the car, it looks brilliant, but that really just lets it down.
Myself and Ron look at this from an engineering point of view. We don't really look at how the thing looks and the details of all the finish.
You need to find a solution to it, or it goes, which means that the mobile office has got to come out, which is going to dilute the offer to the audience that we've got selected for it.
We can't do that. We can't do that. We've got to... Right, leave it with me. I'll think of something. I'll think of something.
If that car's like that tomorrow, we won't be displaying it. We'll call the event off.
Tomorrow's going to be a very long day. We've got to test the car, get all the data written down properly, analyse it. Plus, I've got to get the roof sorted out. We've got to retrim it somehow. I don't know how we're going to do that. Hide the wires. And I still haven't finished my presentation yet.
It's been 3 weeks since engineers Ralph and Ronan were tasked with turning a standard Porsche Panamera into a super-efficient business-class supercar for the Chinese market. But before Ralph and Ronan present the vehicle to a high-flying audience, they must first put it through a real-world efficiency test.
We're at Millbrook Proving Ground, which is one of the best vehicle test facilities in the world. We're selling this to the Chinese market as being an ultra-efficient business machine. There's a whole load of top-flight Chinese business people coming to have a look at the car and review it. And if we don't have the right data to show them that this is what they need, the project's dead in the water.
When the vehicle was inspected, Khan's head of operations blew a gasket over the rough and ready look of the solar panels. Now they're adding some last-minute touches to make them easier on the eye.
So we've put a wrap around the edge of the solar panel, and this is the last bit of unwanted vinyl coming off. So we've got the solar cells exposed there, and the wrap covers all round the edge, and that sort of tidies it up quite nicely, actually. Final touch.
It's looking nice.
Happy with that?
Spot on.
Right, let's have a look. Does look tidier, though, with that wrap on.
Much tidier.
I think Mr. Khan will be pleased with that.
With the unsightly wiring hidden from Khan's critical eye, the car is now ready to be put through its paces in a real-world fuel efficiency test. It is this test that will determine whether tonight's launch is a success or a failure.
Now, to get our fuel economy figure, we will fill the car to the brim so the fuel is right on the nozzle.
Nearly there. Gentle, 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 and there we are, absolutely on the brim.
Absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Then we shall drive it around for a known amount of distance and then brim it again. So we know the miles, we know the gallons, miles per gallon. Dead easy.
So, out to the track.
We'll do some stuff on high speeds. There's a bowl here, so we can go round and round it quite fast. There's an alpine course, which is up and down with lots of hills, so that's quite testing for fuel. And there's a city course, stops and starts and driving slowly, and we'll do some of that.
So here we are cruising at approximately 70 miles an hour.
Right, I'm looking at loads of data here. So what we've got here is typical motorway driving.
Typical motorway driving, except the fact we're going round and round in the left-hand circle.
Yeah.
And we just have to sit here.
That's all good.
For quite a long time, going round and round and round.
Driving down the motorway is very dull.
Yes, it is quite boring.
I spy.
I spy with my little eye.
How about we practice our presentation for this evening?
Oh, there's a good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the Khan Panamera Hybrid. Efficient and clean. Returns an average fuel consumption of whatever we find out.
Whatever we find out.
This office is working really nicely, actually.
Is it?
Because I've got my elbows on these two bits here and my wrists on this movable table here.
Next, the boys head to Millbrook's alpine and urban routes.
Just go around this bend.
These gas-guzzling hills have gradients of up to 26%. The question is, will the boys' data impress the Chinese audience at tonight's launch?
Yeah, so this should be quite interesting then.
And there you can see the fuel is at the brimming point.
22.8 litres.
22.8 litres.
And now, the moment of truth.
Right, so what do the numbers show us?
Right, well, after all of that, the actual, genuine, real-world fuel economy is...
Ralph and Ronan were tasked with creating an efficient executive supercar for the Chinese market. They've rewired its brains, improved its aerodynamics, giving it a retro styling package, added a solar-powered office, and conducted a real-world fuel efficiency test. But will it be enough to satisfy the Chinese business delegation and, perhaps more importantly, Mr. Khan?
Today is a very important day. We've spent weeks and weeks and weeks preparing this car.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and thank you for coming.
So Ralph and Ronan need to be prepared for this, looking slick, and give us a great presentation.
So repeat after me. 女士们 女士们
If it doesn't go right today, then the project's failed. It's cost me a hell of a lot of money. And Ralph and Ronan have lost their job.
光临
That's it, we're fluent now.
Sorted.
Ralph and Ronan might think their preparations are going well, but Mr. Khan has concerns now that he has finally seen the car.
Right, Ralph, just a quick one, mate. Can I have a quick chat with you?
Yeah.
What we stuck that on with?
Sticky stuff.
Bathroom sealant. Look at the state of it. So where did you get that from then? Some DIY shop? Hello? I'm actually disappointed. Rest of the car's fine, but when you go close up to the roof, it looks very poorly done. Shortly, you're going to have some very important people sat around us. It's a very important afternoon.
Right.
We've put a lot of money and a lot of time into this.
Yeah.
So no giggling, no jokes.
Not even the one about
Yeah, I don't think people will laugh at any of your jokes.
Mr. Khan didn't like the finish on the solar cell system at all. He hated it. So we've really got to pull out all the stops for the presentation and make it as slick as possible. Everything hinges on this now. No pressure then.
The Chinese business delegation have arrived right on time. But for Ralph and Ronan, whose job it is to sell this project, the moment of truth has arrived.
Right, shall we go for it?
Yeah, go for it. Are you ready?
The presentation is the key thing here. We've not tapped into this market yet. This is our first time, so this has got to be right. We've got to get this right the first time.
女士们、先生们，晚上好。
When it's people from the similar industry, they're not stupid. I'm just hoping they can pull it off.
Right, here we go. Are you ready?
So China is tackling its carbon footprint with a range of government measures for what they call new energy vehicles. What we would like to do is introduce a vehicle into the market which does not compromise on performance or luxury, but stays with the theme of the new energy. May we introduce to you...
If this fails, we've got a problem on our hands.
The Khan Panamera Hybrid.
The hybrid means that this car is exempt from the 10% purchase tax in China. This car is kinder to the environment and kinder to your wallet.
With a bespoke engine tune, we've released another 60 horsepower without sacrificing anything in the way of fuel economy.
After a thorough real-world testing, the efficient system used on the Khan Panamera Hybrid has given us an average fuel consumption. That's 20% better than the equivalent V8 version of the car, but with the same performance.
Please prepare never to be late to a business meeting again.
So far, it seems to be going well.
There's a roof.
Yes.
It's made from the solar panel.
And the idea of this is that we could use this to power the office system completely independently for hours and hours potentially without having to run the car.
Thank you. If I want to order 10 of this, how quick you can get them ready and shipped?
We could build them within 6 weeks.
6 weeks? Yeah. 10 cars.
The response so far seems to be very positive. They like what they've seen. It's got them interested. I think Khan's onto a winner here.
What do you think of our friends Ralph and Ronan? Do you think they did a good presentation?
Yes, definitely.
To me, they struck me very knowledgeable.
So all in all, a successful day, a busy day, which culminates a successful project, I believe.
My apologies about the way they're dressed. They're engineers, they don't understand fashion. Ralph and Ronan, thumbs up. Hybrid was a good choice. I'm overwhelmed for what's happened today. I'm excited. For Khan Design, this is a huge market, and we're going to conquer it.